April 18th, 2024. That is the day Warhorse Studios finally dropped the trailer for the upcoming sequel we've all been waiting for, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Ever since then, I've noticed that there's been a huge resurgence for the original game, with both returning players coming back for another playthrough or brand new players getting to know Henry for the first time. Now, I've been doing various challenge runs with this game for a little while now, and I've picked up some gameplay tips and tricks along the way that I'd like to share with all of you, and the trick I have at number 1 might just change the way you play the game, so make sure to stick around for that. I did a similar video like this a while back, so if you haven't seen that one, I'll leave a link down in the description, so make sure to check that one out. While you're down there, make sure to leave this video a like if you learned something new, and here are 8 more tips and tricks to help you excel in Kingdom Come Deliverance. Starting off with number 8, getting some of the best horse gear in the game for free. I'm actually going to start this video off right where I ended the last one. In that video, I showed a fun way of getting the best saddle in the game for free while in the tutorial. While it's quite easy to do, it's also really easy to miss since you only have one chance to get it there. But there's actually another place in the game you can get it very early on. After completing the quest Mysterious Ways, you can go back to Neuhof and Zora will have a side quest available in which you must have a horse race in Townburg. This race can be won pretty easily, and I won't go into detail about how to do it here, but if you're having trouble, a fellow content creator called Knights Arcade made a video about this in particular, so I'll link the video down below for a breakdown. While actually filming this, I royally fucked this up and nearly ended up in Privislovitz and came back and still won the race. I'll link that down below as well if you want to laugh at my expense. After winning the race, take Zora's horse back to her and she'll actually give you the noble saddle with 4 saddlebags as a reward. Now for the other gear, you can actually get the noble bridle and a set of cool looking horse armor from this location on the map just outside of Ledechko. As you look down from the top of the hill, you'll see a massive bird's nest on the cliffside with a horse carcass. Instead of jumping off here, follow the cliffside down until reaching this spot with a white tree. Before doing this, I suggest making a save and having a good bit of bandages and healing potions on you since it might take a few tries to get down, and you'll almost certainly take fall damage from the drop, but the perk Featherweight in the agility tree can negate some of it. Once you're down, follow the path back up towards the nest, and once you open it, there'll be a noble bridle and horse armor inside. Simply equip it onto your horse, and now all you have left to buy is a set of horseshoes to completely kit out your horse. Moving on to number 7, here's some of the easiest side quests that offer fantastic rewards. Capon's Champion is a side quest you get asked to win the Ratai tourney as Hans Capon's page. After completing the quest Next to Godliness, where you spend an evening relaxing in the baths with Hans,
that's the least relaxing bath I've ever had.
Go speak to him again and he'll ask you to win the Ratai tourney. The good thing about doing this quest for Hans is you can actually triple dip into your rewards. Not only will Hans Capon pay for your entry fee, you can also place a bet with yourself to win with Peshek and get the rewards from Hanush at the end. Once you win the tourney, you get 400 groschen and a piece of the Lords of Lipa set from Hanush. Hans gives you a set of the golden spurs and another 100 groschen to help him out, and you can win up to 500 groschen from Peshek depending on your initial bet as a reward, giving about 1000 groschen worth of prize money and about 4000 groschen worth of gear just from this one tournament. Up next in the quest Waldensians, which is available after the main story quest Mysterious Ways, Sir Hanush asks you to deal with the Vicar at Ujits who's hunting for heretics. The reason this quest is fairly easy to complete is whether you choose to side with Father Godwin and the Bowers or the Vicar. As long as you don't kill the Vicar or tell Hanush that you tipped off the Bowers, he'll give you the reward of 375 groschen and St. Michael's sword as a reward. If you choose to side with the Vicar, he'll also give you an additional 425 groschen for your help, so your total reward is around 800 groschen and a very good mid to late game sword worth about 1500 groschen. And lastly, in the quest Robber Baron, which can be done after completing the main story quest Questions and Answers, Hanush will ask you to chase off Bernard's cousin, Wolfen of Camberg, who's been pillaging farmsteads in the region. This one can be completed without combat with just a simple charisma check. Start the quest in Perkstein and Ratai by speaking to Hans Capon. Before speaking to him, make sure to take off all your clothing. As you speak to Hans, he tells you Hanush wants to speak with both of you and makes a comment on your appearance. This prompts the quest Clothes Make the Man, where Hans provides high charisma clothing in the trunk located beside him. Take all the clothes out of the trunk, put the best ones on, and speak with Hans Cape on again. After hearing that Bernard's cousin is causing trouble in the province, Henry is prompted to get Wolfen to leave and avoid violence if possible. At this point, take off all the clothing so they don't get dirty, and follow Bernard and his men to the camp, which is the same one that you and Hans Capon hunted hare in earlier in the game. On the way, stop at the herbalist hut and pick up the Amour potion for around 70 groschen. If you'd rather get a free one, head on up to Ujits and make a stop at this interesting site where you can find a free Amour potion on the ground. Conduct your investigation to find Wolfen's camp and go back to Captain Bernard. Before speaking to him, re-equip your fancy clothing, ask to negotiate with Wolfen, and pass Bernard's charisma check. Before going to Wolfen's, make sure to equip Bernard's Waffenrock and unequip any weapons in your inventory, then go back to Wolfen's camp. Once outside the camp, drink the Amour potion and let the bandit patrolling outside escort you to Wolfen. While speaking, request for Wolfen to leave the loot and pay compensation to Sir Hanush, then select the charisma check option. As long as your clothing didn't get dirty, your charisma should be around level 17, which is more than enough to pass this check. After passing, you get a cool piece of hidden dialogue about Wolfen and Radzig's relationship. Bernard is happy, and Hanush rewards you with the Magdeburg Cuirass as a reward. The chest piece is one of the very best in the entire game, worth almost 2,500 groschen, and get almost 2,000 groschen worth of high value clothing from this quest alone. This one is especially easy since everything you need to pass this quest is literally given to you at the start. While there are well over 100 side quests in the game, I believe these 3 can be done fairly easily and offer some of the best bang for your buck as far as the rewards. Next up, at number 6, did you know going to jail heals you? I showed you in my last video how going to Captain Bernard and asking for training can help heal your health, but it turns out any guards in the game are willing to patch Henry up if he goes to jail. Now I'll admit this is a little less practical as there are several downsides that come from this method, but this was my primary method of being able to heal when I did my no player menu challenge run where I couldn't access my inventory to bandage myself or drink healing potions. The bathhouse is closed right now, it's the middle of the night, so we're not going to be able to heal with the bathhouse. We need to go to jail. Okay, take me to jail. Oh my god. You'll always come out of jail both tired and hungry and have the jail debuff active for a couple days after this occurs, but your health will be reset to 100 and any injuries you have such as bleeding or broken bones will be healed. Now I'm not suggesting this should be your primary method of healing, but if the situation is really desperate and you find yourself bleeding with no bandages in your inventory, going to jail is a small price to pay for keeping your Henry alive.
Jail? Alright, let's go and get it over with quick.
You know what else can help keep your Henry alive? By leaving this video a like and subscribing to the channel since it's been scientifically proven to help keep your Henry alive by 300%.
Really?
No, not really, but it would still really help me out, so go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe so we can get to 10,000 subs before the arrival of KCD2. Now, for all the trophy hunters out there, at number 5, the Merciful achievement can still be done with killing. Sort of. Going for the Merciful achievement, which requires you to complete the entire game without killing anyone except for Runt, can be challenging given that only 0.8% of players have ever gotten this achievement on Steam. The best way to track progress towards this goal is by checking your journal and looking at the stat people killed. If the number is a 0 or 1 after completing Baptism of Fire, then the achievement will pop at the end of the game. However, playing like this has some downsides, such as not being able to complete certain quests or being able to defend yourself if you get suddenly ambushed. Well, that's not true because there's actually a few things that you can do in the game that doesn't register as killing. For clearing out bandit camps, you can actually sneak right into the camp, drop a Bane potion into the cooking pot, and then go to the outskirts of the camp, wait a few hours for the bandits to eat, and watch as they all poison themselves one by one. Now, this method is a bit glitchy as sometimes the bandits will bug and never eat again, but there's actually another way to do this that's much more effective. You can simply alert the entire camp to your presence and have them follow you into a nice open area. From here, if you ram into the bandits using your horse, you'll slowly kill them each time you hit them. This might take several tries, but eventually they'll die, and if you check your stats, you'll see that your people killed statistic is still at 0. I recommend having a horse with a high courage stat, as some of the lower tier horses are likely to buck you off if you get too close to the bandits, and I actually did a video a while back where I used this method to clear out all of Privislovitz without registering a single kill, so this method is definitely effective and can come in clutch if you get ambushed on your playthrough. Now, if Mercy isn't for you, at number 4, the Master Strike can be learned much sooner than you think. For most players, they might have played their entire first playthrough not even knowing that the Master Strike existed. It's one of the most powerful skills in the game and can make some combat encounters comically easy. Well, for anyone struggling in combat in this game, I've got some good news for you. This skill can be learned almost right after the tutorial. After completing your initial training with Captain Bernard, you speak to the bailiff that assigns you to go on patrol with Nightingale. Before going on the patrol, you can actually go back to Captain Bernard, and as long as you have a skill of at least 3 in any of the weapons, you can learn combos and the Master Strike. If you wait until after this point, starting the hunting quest with Sir Hans will lock this option out to you until after completing Ginger's questline, as Bernard will be in Neuhof for the duration of that quest. Bernard can be found at the arena between the hours of 08 until about 1300, takes a brief hour lunch, and then goes back to the arena from about 1400 till 1800. Trust me, do yourself a favor and learn this skill well before starting to explore, as this makes combat encounters a lot more winnable.
Well done!
Now, on to number 3, the sword icons can save your life in battles. The sword icons that appear at the bottom of your compass at the top of the screen can save your life in battles. There are 2 states in which they can appear. If they're yellow and crossed, the enemy can see you and is currently engaged with you. This means you can't store anything on your horse, apply bandages, drink potions, or swap out pieces of armor. However, if you create a small opening by breaking line of sight with the enemy or creating some distance by sprinting, the swords may become white and uncrossed, which means the enemies are still aggroed but are no longer engaged, and you can store armor on your horse, equip new clothing, drink potions, or even apply bandages to limbs that might be bleeding. The next time you find yourself in a large encounter, make sure to keep an eye at the compass so you have a sense of when you have a chance to heal mid-battle, and this is something I take advantage of all the time. At number 2, did you know that there's an exploit you can use to easily defeat Runt in the church? This is a strategy I employed during my speed run, and it's a little tricky to do, but once you get it, it can be done fairly consistently. If you have a bow and arrow, right at the start of the fight, turn about 45 degrees to your right and run straight to the wall. As Runt sprints forward towards you, hug the wall and sprint forward along the pillars to the right. As you turn around, he'll be glitched out and simply standing in one spot, unable to move forward. If you want, you can feel free to fill his ass up like a porcupine with every arrow in your inventory. 26, 27, 28. However, if this isn't your style, this can also be done at any point in the battle. As seen in this clip, I actually missed this spot on my first 2 attempts, but was able to run back to the same point and get him stuck on my 3rd attempt. Even if you're not speedrunning the game, you can still use this tip as a momentary pause in the battle with Runt, as while he's in this state, you'll notice the swords will frequently uncross, giving you chances to buff up with potions or change out pieces of gear. Is this an exploit? Absolutely it is, but this is the guy that beat the shit out of you, stole your sword, and basically is the reason for all your problems throughout the game, so fuck him. Do what makes you happy. And finally, at number 1, here's a couple polearm tricks that can finally make them overpowered. The polearms in KCD1 were a bit of a letdown. While they were quite powerful to use, they had a lot of drawbacks. They couldn't be placed on your horse or in your inventory, you couldn't sprint while they were equipped, nor could you perform master strikes or do the stab animation outside of combat. This made it a very bad option when battling multiple troops or against archers, as you really had no way to defend yourself against arrows. Well, not anymore, as I have some tricks of getting around this. Firstly, I'll show you how to put polearms into your inventory. After picking up a polearm, go to any merchant on the map that offers repairs on weaponry and ask them to repair it. If the polearm is at 100%, find any surface to strike it against a single time, and this will barely cost you a single groschen. From here, the polearm will go straight into your inventory, and while it still can't be stored in a chest or on your horse, all you have to do is open your inventory and drop it on the floor when you want to use it, and now you can have a polearm with you anywhere you want to go.
People, there's cops here! Damn it! Alarm!
However, to get the most out of this, the polearms can be made to be used in one hand and gives the option to perform master strikes. This is actually super easy to do and only requires a couple of things. Simply pick up a polearm and make sure you have a torch in your inventory along with a blacksmith's kit used to repair weapons. If the polearm is at 100% condition, swing it against the ground to damage it very slightly. Next, open your inventory and scroll into the weapons tab. Select the torch and hit equip. You'll see that both the polearm and the torch are equipped simultaneously. simultaneously. Without exiting out of your inventory, scroll over to the Others tab and select the Blacksmith's Kit. Perform a repair on the Polearm, and there you go. When you exit your inventory, the torch will be equipped in your left hand, while the Polearm will go to your right, and this can be used like any other one-handed weapon in the game, just a lot more powerful. Now, while this is already pretty cool, it can be a little annoying to go everywhere with a torch, especially when it's not nighttime, so let's make this even better. Add a shield to your inventory and follow the same steps as before, first equipping the torch and then performing the repair on the Polearm. However, this time, before exiting your inventory, scroll back to your weapons tab and equip the shield instead of the torch, and now when you exit out, you'll have a shield in your left hand and a Polearm in your right, allowing you to finally live out all your Spartan dreams of having a shield and a spear against your enemies.
Spartans! What is your profession?
Now, I know that there are mods out there available to PC players that allow for something similar, but for those that prefer not using mods, or any of the console players out there, you can finally feel some of the joy of using polearms that don't suck before the release of KCD 2. And that's my list of 8 more tips and tricks to help you excel in Kingdom Come Deliverance. Did you learn something new in this video? Make sure to let me know down in the comments, and consider becoming a member to help the channel out even further, coming with exclusive perks like early access to videos like this, along with member-only live streams and polls, so if you're able to join, please do so, but if you're not, leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye!